Yo, yo, chat. Can y'all hear me? Chat, can y'all hear me? Chat. Yo, chat, testing. Chat, testing. Boo, hoo, hoo. Damn. Alright, so let's get started. Chuck, what is this? Dun 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 Yo. We got that rolling. Chat at what's up? What's poppin'? What's poppin'? I think it's entertaining, but this is champagne. Da dee da dee da.
The return of the moist meter. So I just want to briefly go over the lore here because people are asking all the time. They're starting to ask Grok what happened to the moist meter. To boil it down to just the bare butt cheeks, I stopped doing it because I didn't like having to come up with an arbitrary number to associate with whatever I was reviewing. And honestly, I felt like it made my reviews so fucking vague that the number
Bro, Chad, we gotta find something really funny and crazy. I'm trying to watch something crazy. Feel me? Hey, uh, what is that going on YouTube? What does YouTube have for me? Yep, YouTube. What do you have for me today? I bought everything in the store. Wait. Wait. What is this? Is this bread? Damn, chat. That looks good though. Alright, let's check it. Qatar Airways. Yeah, I know that. This long, they definitely make bread. Rainy. Damn. It's looking good already, chat. It's really looking good already. This bread gets more red than I need. Damn, that looks good I'm sorry if I gotta skip the process. Bro, don't look so good. I ain't gonna lie, I could probably eat this shit like this. Shit looking good already. Wow. Trying to get to the good part. I'm trying to get to the good part. Whoa. Fresh bread. So fresh. Oh my god, bro. Like, bro, come on, man. Damn. Oh my god, bro. I like it. I'm gonna give you a like. I'm gonna give you a like. I like it. I like it. Bro, let me go. Let me go.
Hey, everybody.
Bro. Hey. Hey. Oh. It is good though. Dude, but there's something I actually wanted to watch. What is that? Um, okay. First off, wait, people, and most ways people have died. I don't know why I want to watch this though, but I just want to watch it. Worst ways people have died. I'm looking for the most ridiculous deaths in history. The worst punishments in history. Bro, shit. Ooh. Let's check for the one with the most views. The dumbest, strangest, most painful ways people have died. Compilation. Compilation. Electrocuted taking selfie. Shit. God damn. Let's check this one, chat. The most ridiculous deaths in history.
Part 2. In a world of constant
Alright, this one.
EVE Online on Mac immerses you in a universe with thousands of star systems like never before. Follow a path of your own choosing and become a
The silliest deaths in history.
Okay.
Part 2.
Part 2.
In a world of constant scientific revolution and innovation, it's required that any new theories be put to the test with reliable and repeatable proofs. Otherwise, you're about as useful as a flat earther. But sometimes that proof puts people in harm's way.
Yo.
Take, for instance, one Jesse William Lazier. This handsome block of cheddar was an American physician in the late 1800s, though he did live to see the new century, just not for very long. But we'll get to that in a bit. Growing from a well-to-do boy into a well-to-do man, Lazier had a passion for helping the ill and minimizing all of the icky sickies that had plagued humanity throughout history. So he took that passion and put it to good use, receiving his doctorate in medicine from Columbia University in 1892. Upgrading himself from graduate to practicing physician in 1895, Lazier focused his studies on two major diseases, the infectious malaria and the deadly yellow fever, both of which were stirring up all kinds of problems in the late 1800s, the worst of which being that people were dying. But exactly how these diseases were being spread so easily, particularly in the southern United States and in the Caribbean, remained a mystery, for a few more years at least. Well, that's not exactly true. You see, about 14 years earlier, Cuban public health professional disease researcher guy Carlos Finlay came up with a theory. He proposed that some diseases, particularly yellow fever, could be transmitted through the bite of a single infected mosquito. It's a rather simple theory. An itty-bitty mosquito bites an infected monkey, acquires the yellow fever, flies away, finds a healthy human, gives the suck and leaves behind yellow fever, and the cycle continues. Now, if you've ever spent more than 2 seconds in the American South, you know just how bad them little shits can get. So if there's a few infected people and a lot of mosquitoes, things are going to spread faster than a bad joke at a dad convention.
Damn.
Oh, come on, I'm hungry. He said it. Finlay laid out his research and presented his nido-mosquito theory to the scientific community, opting for control over the mosquito population to minimize the spread. And they all laughed at him. All them stupid science bitches ridiculed and mocked Finlay's theory, brushing it off as complete nonsense. But now we fast forward more than a decade, and a very confident Lazier was willing to put that theory to the test. On himself. Right, here's an infected skater, and here's an uninfected me. So, if it bites me and I get infected, well, there you go. And so, in September of 1900, Lazier was deliberately bitten by an infected mosquito.
Okay.
He contracted yellow fever and died several days later. But his sacrifice would not be in vain, as it confirmed Finlay's theory, subsequently revolutionizing the control of yellow fever, including controlling the mosquito population.
Wait, so basically, he killed himself just to prove a theory. Wow. Wow. Somebody said, wow. That is crazy.
The age of exploration saw a lot of exploring from many a capable sea captain. But amongst the Columbuses and Marco Polos of history, some have fallen through the cracks, their deeds and accomplishments forgotten to time, or just not important enough for people to care. Johnny Kendrick was one such captain. Ever since growing up aboard Papa Kendrick's whaling vessel in his teenage years, John had a love of the sea, which explains the vast success he found in his later years. This guy was more American than he strapped apple pie asking for a tip. A member of the American Sons of Liberty, Kendrick personally took part in the famous Boston Tea Party, hucking countless crates of precious British life fuel into the harbor. He also commanded a privateer ship during the American Revolution, attacking and capturing British warships with his crew of 104 men, even going as far as helping convince the French to join the fight. After helping America get its independence, Kendrick took to the seas once more, this time on a more exploratory venture. Teaming up with famous explorer ship-sailing Captain Fellow Robert Gray, whom you've probably never heard of, the two bros made history, leading the first U.S. expedition to the Pacific Northwest, where they established a strong fur trade route. This was mainly trading goods like mirrors and knives to purchase sea otter pellets from local natives. Hey, gotta do what you gotta do, you know?
What? What did they just do? Hey, bro. Oh my god, bro.
Kendrick also made himself at home in Hawaii in the late 1700s. There, he built up a pretty lucrative sandalwood trade hub, harvesting the wood in Hawaii and shipping it off to China, who treasured the luscious lumber for its durability, medicinal and therapeutic properties, and of course, its smell. Oh, that's good wood. So Kendrick spent many a year just jamming as much of his wood as he could into China's supple trading ports, skipping back and forth across the Pacific Pond between mainland China and the Hawaiian Islands. But Hawaii, historically speaking, often had a bunch of fighting between chiefs of the different islands. Each chief, understandably enough, wanted to expand their respective territories and influence. Well, when returning to the islands in 1794, Kendrick found Hawaii to be in complete turmoil, with two chiefs duking it out to be the big chief in charge. One of the tribes was being supplied by Captain William Brown, a proper Brit who was willing to get some land for the British crown. Kendrick replied he too supplied a chief of great renown, and put to the test Kendrick did his best to smack the captain down. So in December of 1794, a battle commenced with Captain Brown supporting the chief of Oahu and Kendrick supporting the chief of Kauai. How cute. The tropical tussle ended with Kendrick's side being victorious, inspiring him to celebrate the only way a true American knows how. By firing off loud guns. As planned, Kendrick's ship had ignited a volley of cannon fire. Although his side had lost, Captain Brown, determined to uphold proper British etiquette, agreed to discharge a volley of his own cannons in Kendrick's honor. Oh, this turtle soup is to die for.
Woohoo!
Well, that's what you get for slurping your soup. Ugh, turns out in a complete honest mistake, Captain Brown forgot to unload shot from one of his cannons before firing it off. Some historical accounts claim that grape shot tore through Kendrick's cabin, creating complete chaos and quickly killing the competent captain as he crunched on a collation of consumables.
Damn.
Oh, sorry about that, it's completely my fault.
Introducing Grammarly,
Bro,
like you've never
what?
seen before. Your all-in-one writing essential. This is Paraphraser, your go-to tool for writing that's sharp, clear, and ready for whatever hat you put on.
Yep, that Jack Daniel, the two first-name having freak who founded the famous Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey Company. You know,
Oh, yeah.
that succulent spirit that did, will, or is getting you through those tough college days or life in general. That's the one. Well, little Jackie Boy was born in Tennessee in the mid-1800s as the youngest of 10, mainly because his birth was the one that sent his beloved mother skyward. Very sad. Now, unfortunately, not much is known about Jack's early life because them town records don't went caught fire. Most of the insight that we do have into Jack's life actually comes from the Jack Daniels Company historical records. Teeny tiny Jack, the youthful entrepreneur that he was, yearned for work at the ripe old age of 8. The man
Is
to
that
answer
Coppa?
Jack's call was this guy, Dan Call, a preacher, a screecher, and one distilling creature. And of course, it would be here that Jack would find his calling. Something about Jack caught Dan's eye, and he saw real potential in the little tyke. This boy's gonna make a fine whiskey one day, I tell you what. And so, according to company history, an 8-year-old Jack began learning the art and science of distillation from one Nathan Green, a master distiller and slave under Dan Call. Fast forward several years, and Dan hit a crossroad. Given an ultimatum by his wife, Dan had to choose between his relationship with his tasty spirits or the Holy Spirit. The Reverend chose his Lord and Savior, saving his soul and his liver in the process. In that choice, Dan had sold his prized distillery to none other than his favorite pupil, Jack Daniel, whose first
Okay.
act as new owner was to hire on his friend and mentor Nathan Green as the company's master distiller. He also employed Nathan's 2 adult sons and, later down the line, his grandsons. Now, the Jack Daniels website really emphasizes that Jack never owned slaves. So if you disagree, don't look at me. I'm just a guy on the internet. A man of all business and no pleasure, Jack never married nor had any children of his own. He did, however, take
for
his
real?
nephews under his wing to learn the business, eventually handing the distillery down to them in 1907
Bro.
once his health bar
What kind of chat? What kind of starch is this? Like, bro, storage so long, so down, bro.
had reached a solid
So
yellow.
if
But
you want to eat, you gotta raise it up like this. Put your food in your mouth.
It would be a few years later in 1911 before Jack would kick the bucket, or in this case, something much heavier. According to legend, Jack Daniel, now in his 60s or so, had forgotten the combination to a personal safe housing a bunch of valuables like safes are typically designed to do. In his frustration, Jack tried to solve the problem in true US Southerner fashion by putting a boot up its ass. But since a safe has buns of literal steel, Jack instead broke his toe, causing a
Shit.
severe blood infection. Jack Daniel reportedly died of blood poisoning on October 9th, 1911. But
Damn.
is this story true? I don't know.
I don't know, but you're the one telling us. Say, I don't
Here's
know.
a rather recent one for you. Back in
Alright.
1993, when the world was witnessing
All right, so we about to react to the worst death, or rather, the worst punishment in human history. Let's check it out. It's about 19 minutes long. All right, let's see.
You can't just leave me out here naked.
The
I'm going to
worst
get a
punishment
cold.
in human history.
Aw, that's cute.
That's kind of the point, lady.
Excuse me, good
Oh,
sir.
that kid again.
Is it?
Yep, every Thursday, same as always.
But no blood, no screaming? It's so boring. This punishment is terrible. My mom's yoga instructor makes her scream way more than that. Make her burn or something. What?
Yeah!
Wait, what? Did I hear that correctly? What the hell?
Look, kid, I also want to make this quick, but we're in another recession right now, and wood is expensive.
I have a bowl and a rat. Oh, screw you, kid.
Then you, yes you, dear viewer, ask me why did we humans spend so much time perfecting the rat torture instead of, oh, I don't know, literally anything else?
You fucked with me, Dave. Now I need to kill you, and it's your fault. Go!
I'm right here, sir.
Kill!
Okay.
No! No, no! Wait a second! He can't just die! I need him to suffer so that he and everyone else remembers not to ever betray me again!
It was just cake, sir.
My cake, Dave! My cake!
What?
The pain! Now that's educational content. This still sucks.
I agree with you, kid. We need something worse and creative. Guard, call the engineer.
Already here, sir.
Use the decree that I've paid for you to create the worst punishment in human history.
You should use his dog too at some point.
He does bite, yes. Great idea, kid. You're all monsters.
What is
And
this?
every culture had their own special flavors. Europe
Hey,
liked
what
things
is
that
this?
went crack. Asia preferred things that went slice. And everyone else? Well, they just got really creative with animals. Well,
Really?
if I have to do this,
Do it.
then how about a really heavy rock on the head?
We already do that, and it's too quick.
Then you could strap a rope around their neck and push the rock into a river.
Yeah, they would suffer.
But not for too long.
It needs to make the person live with it for the rest of their lives. Yeah, not good. Shoot him again.
Wait! What if we made the punishment wearable? Iron boot. Famous in Scotland, France, and even Spain. A tiny metal boot would be pressed on your foot with the goal of crushing the tibia and fibia bones until 1, 2 hits and more, slowly
Damn.
and painfully flattening the foot. Yes! Yes! Oh yes! I have found El Dorado! Just please stop! What have I done?
Write that down, God. We're going on a road trip.
And him?
Oh, just leave him be. Thank you for your cooperation.
Damn.
Liar! Make it worse!
Sweatbox. This one was actually used by the US Navy a few hundred years ago. Little old me? Yes, you. A cheap and efficient solution to lock one man inside a wooden or metal box. A literal standing coffin.
I spent 6 months at sea looking for a city of gold, Dave. Do you know what I found? A very large bird! And a tan I didn't want. Is he still in there?
For the last 10 days, yes. And the best part, we don't see him suffering or any kind of blood, right? I'll not clean his shit. Oh, I thought it was the dog.
Cool, cool. Well, not cool at all. Why are we out here?
Just imagine what Dave is feeling right now. Little Ease. The most famous one was used in the
Wait,
Tower
what?
of London. It's 4 feet wide
I
and 4
understand.
feet tall.
What just-
A
what
man
did I
can't
just
stand
watch?
and he
What is
can't
that?
lie down. He just exists in a permanent squat. Like a human accordion.
You know what, Dave? I'll be cooler with you now and just forget. Forget your ugly face! Make it happen!
The Oubliette Dungeon. From the French word oublier, which means to forget. Because once you were in, the jailers usually did. A bottle-shaped dungeon with a single opening at the very top. Prisoners were lowered in by rope.
Nah, just drop him.
Ah! Ah! What was that for?
First of all, Iron Boots, Sweatbox, Little Ease, and what was the last one?
I feel
Omelette.
bored.
Omelette. They were all nice, but not too fun to watch. Now I need some state-sponsored fear across
is?
town.
A good
People
show.
don't feel that
Exactly.
history.
And second, I still don't understand why I've paid for university.
I feel really
Math,
bored. That's it.
engineering.
It just feels so boring to watch that. I don't know why. I need something really scary. You feel me? The worst punishment in history. Okay, I think this should be good. This should be good.
Yakuza
Worst
finger removal,
punishment in history.
also known as Yubitsum. It's a ritual done to gain forgiveness after a member committed an offense to someone else in his group, and it consists of amputating portions of one's own little finger to show sincere apology and remorse to the other. I've put this one as the least painful because it doesn't usually cause lifelong lasting pain, and it isn't deadly, unlike the brutal ones further down the list. Bastinado. Bastinado consists of beating the victim with a light rod, knotted cord, or lash, exclusively on the feet. Unlike most types of flogging, it is meant more to be painful than to cause actual injury, even though if done too harshly or for too long, it might cause the victim to not be able to walk anymore. This one is also not deadly. Pitch capping. Pitch capping involves pouring hot pitch or tar into a conical paper cap and forcing it onto the victim's head. The pitch was allowed to cool, and the cap was ripped off, removing skin and tissue from the victim's scalp, scarring him for life. It wasn't usually done with the intention of killing, but deadly infections after this weren't that uncommon. Elephant's foot. This punishment, also known as Gunga Rao, was mostly used in Asia, specifically India, and it consisted of killing the victim by crushing him with an elephant. There were 2 variations of this. If the
Oh
victim
my
was
God.
lucky, his head would be placed on a pedestal, and the elephant would crush it, instantly killing him. This wasn't that painful because the
Wait,
victim would
that I thought the elephant foot was like really soft under. Does it have that much force?
die instantly, but the second variation wasn't as forgiving. Some royal members wanted to sit down and enjoy a long show, so they ordered the elephant riders to train the elephants to walk over non-vital parts first, such as the legs and arms. The person would get crushed over and over before the elephant actually walked over his head and killed him. Poina Cully.
Damn.
In ancient Rome, those who would kill their own father were subjected to Poina Cully. It was a death penalty that consisted of being sewn up in a leather sack with a mix of live animals, including a dog, snake, monkey, and a chicken, and then being thrown into water. Roman decimation.
Oh my
In
God.
ancient Rome, when military units or a large group were guilty of capital offenses, such as cowardice, mutiny, or desertion, they went through the process of decimation. A cohort of roughly 480 soldiers that needed to be punished was divided into groups of 10, and each group drew lots randomly. The soldier who picked the shortest straw had to be killed by his 9 friends, often by stoning, clubbing, or stabbing, while the 9 surviving ones had to stay outside the fortified security of the camp for some time. Since the killed victim was chosen randomly, all soldiers in the group were potentially liable for execution, regardless of how guilty they were. Blowing from a
Damn.
gun. Blowing from a gun is a method of execution in which the victim is typically tied to the mouth of a cannon, which is then fired, resulting in instant death. A description of what
What?
happens was given by an English soldier in the 19th century, and he said that the victim's head goes straight up into the air for about 40 or 50 feet. The arms fly off right and left, high up in the air, and fall at around 100 yards distance, while the legs drop to the ground beneath the muzzle of the gun. It's this low on the list because the victim probably doesn't feel a thing, as his death is instant. Basil II's blind journey. Byzantine Emperor Basil II reportedly captured 15,000 Bulgarians during the Battle of Kleiden, so he
Wow.
decided to use them as a message to their
15,000.
homeland. He divided the prisoners into groups of 100, and then he had 99 out of every 100 blinded, with the 100th man being blinded in only one eye, so that he could still lead the other 99 back home. Bulgarian Tsar Samuel died of a heart attack on October.
Wait. He will blind 99 and blind the 101 in one eye, so he will lead the rest back home. What kind of shit is this? Like, who thinks about this kind of torture, bro?
October 6, 1014, reportedly due to seeing his soldiers blinded. Castor oil poop barrels. Making someone drink a lot of castor oil caused stomach pain and made them so sick that they could no longer hold their poop together. They would then put the person in a big human-sized barrel and remove them when the person confessed. This could even go as far as leaving the person to drown in their own body fluids inside the barrel if he didn't cooperate. Immurement. Immurement was used both as an execution method and as a lifelong imprisonment method. It consisted of putting someone in an enclosed space and really tight space, such as behind a wall, for the rest of his life. If it was used as an
What?
execution method, the person would be left to starve to death, while if it was used as imprisonment, they would regularly give the victim food. Rack. The person would be forced to lay on a rectangle-shaped wooden rack that stretched the victim's body by pulling the arms and legs in opposite directions. It caused incredible pain and could lead to dislocated limbs and torn ligaments. It was mainly
Ew.
used as a method to get information, but it could also be used to tear the victim's limbs out and leave him bleeding to death. Tarring and feathering. Tarring and feathering is a form of public torture where a victim is stripped naked or stripped to the waist, while wood tar, sometimes hot, is either poured or painted onto the person. After that, the victim would have feathers thrown onto him, or he was rolled around on a pile of feathers so that they stuck to the tar. This would not only cause extreme burns to the victim's skin, permanently scarring him, but also psychologically humiliate him in public, as he was meant to look like a giant chicken walking around the street. Choke pear.
Oh my God.
It was a metal
bro.
tool that was
What
put
the
into
hell?
someone's mouth or booty hole and then made bigger on purpose. The tool would
What?
stretch the tissue to the point of no return. Aztecs' live heart removal. When the Aztecs sacrificed people to Huitzilopochtli, the sun god, the victim would be placed on a sacrificial stone, and the priest would then cut through the abdomen with an obsidian or flint blade. The heart would be torn out, still beating, and held towards the sky in honor of the sun god.
What
Heretic's
is
fork.
that? What
It's
is
a collar
that,
with two
bro?
sets of metal
What is
forks at each
that?
end. One set was placed under the chin and the other at the sternum, and the device was secured around the neck. This forced the victim to keep their head raised, leading to severe discomfort and sleep deprivation. The person would be asked questions or just be left there, while the fork slowly pierced through their neck and jaw, and this lasted until the victim could no longer hold their head raised, causing the fork to pierce through. Rat's cup. A method attributed to the Roman Emperor Nero involved tying a cup filled with hungry rats to the victim's stomach and then applying heat to the bottom, forcing the rats to burrow through the victim's body to escape. In some parts of South America, they used a variation of this method called the rectoscope, which consisted of inserting living rats into a victim's rectum through a tube, forcing them to make their way through the victim's body to get out. Catherine's
Oh
wheel.
my God.
An execution method where the victim's limbs were tied to a large wheel and then struck with a hammer or iron bar, breaking their bones in multiple places. The wheel was placed on display later on, often leaving the victim to starve. Boiling alive. The victim would be lowered into a large container with a boiling liquid, such as oil, gradually and slowly. The first exposed parts would be the extremities, such as fingers and toes, which have lots of nerve endings and cause incredible pain. Then the skin, muscles, and fat softened and liquefied due to the heat, while internal organs and the flesh got boiled from the outside, making this a slow and agonizing process. In another variation, which is thought to be even more painful and long, the victim would be lowered into a normal temperature liquid, which would be gradually heated until it started boiling. Keel hauling. Keel hauling was a severe maritime punishment where a sailor was tied to a rope and dragged underwater from one side of the ship to the other, passing under the ship's keel. If the person did not drown or get vital damage from the rusty and sharp wooden body of the ship itself, they would just do it again until the person was no longer alive. It was feared for its brutality. Sawing. When used as an execution method, the victim would be hanged upside down to make the blood flow to the head, increasing the time the person was conscious. The executioner would then divide the victim vertically into two halves, starting from the groin and moving upwards. Hanged, drawn, and quartered.
What is
This method was used to execute men convicted of high treason in medieval and early modern Britain and Ireland, and it consisted of multiple steps. The convicted traitor was tied to a wooden board and dragged behind a horse to the execution site. There, he was almost hanged to death, then mutilated and had his organs removed, before being beheaded and his body divided into 4 parts, just in case he was still alive. These remains were often displayed in well-known places across the country, like London Bridge, to warn others about the consequences of being a traitor. Glass
If you are not here, you are missing out.
tration. This method wasn't always deadly, but in my opinion, it deserves this spot because of how brutally painful it sounds. It's the method of inserting a glass rod into a man's erect willy and then smashing it with a hammer, causing the glass rod to fragment into multiple small pieces that shattered all over the insides. Bamboo through booty hole. A bamboo would be put inside a person's booty hole, and it would be left there. The bamboo would grow really quickly inside the man, causing incredible pain. It was sometimes left until it exited from the other side. Spanish donkey. This was a sharp-angled wooden device on which the victim was forced to sit, straddling it like a donkey, with weights attached to their feet. This would increase pressure and pain on the body, often causing severe injury to the legs and spine until the victim was ripped apart by their body weight. Brazen bull. A metal statue shaped like a real-sized bull was used to lock someone inside and then heat it up with fire underneath. The person inside would feel extreme heat and pain while being burned alive, and it was meant to scare others by showing how bad the punishment could be. There were special pipes to make the victim breathe, which also made the screams hearable for the crowd, resulting in a bull-like sound. The steam would leave from the bull's nose for extra realism. Impalement. The brutal part of impaling, like crucifixion, is that the victim tortured himself. In a famous variant, he was set up high, on a stake, so that it didn't actually penetrate anything vital, so long as he stayed up on his toes, so he could keep it from going any deeper so long as he kept his own weight on his feet. When the victim would get tired, he would slip a little further, and when he felt the pain, he would scramble up again on the already aching and exhausted muscles, only to repeat this process out of exhaustion a little later, and so on, until something vital got pierced. Another variant consisted of the Judas chair, a torture device featuring a pyramid-shaped seat where the victim was placed at the top, with ropes used to lower and suspend their body weight onto the sharp apex. The chair would slowly rip the person apart. Flaying. Flaying was a gruesome method where the skin was removed from the body while the victim was still alive. This extreme form of torture was used to cause intense, slow pain and suffering, eventually leading to death through shock or infection. The skin, lacking major blood vessels, did not cause rapid blood loss, so victims could remain conscious and endure prolonged agony. It was often considered a meticulous process, requiring precision and skill from the executioner, and rather than removing the skin in pieces, cultures sought methods to flay the victim more efficiently and completely, sometimes using substances like boiling water to facilitate the process. Blood eagle. This one was a brutal ritual where the victim's ribs were cut from the spine and spread out to resemble wings, while the lungs were pulled through the openings, causing a slow, agonizing death. It's short, but it's one of the most brutal ones, in my opinion. Lingqi. Also known as death by 1,000 cuts, it was a famous method used in China to prolong the suffering for as long as possible. There were multiple variations of this method, even though almost all of them included cutting the skin deep enough to cause incredible pain, but not deep enough to allow the victim to lose blood. In one variation, the victim was restrained, and an executioner would pull knives out at random, each with a body part on it. Left forearm, right thigh, left foot, neck, etc. Each time he'd pull a knife out, he would make a cut on that body part. This would continue until the executioner pulled out the knife with the heart on it, and that's when he stabbed the victim through the heart. In another variation, they would tie a fishnet tightly around someone's body and cut off the pieces of skin that popped up in the holes of the net. In the most brutal version, they would bury someone up to their neck, make a cross-shaped cut at the crown of the head, peel the skin back, and pour mercury in the wound. The mercury, through its weight, would separate skin from flesh, and as the person struggled to unbury themselves, they would eventually leave their skin behind in the hole. Scaphism.
Oh my God.
This one is considered by many to be the worst execution method. In this punishment, the condemned person was placed inside a boat or between two boats, lying on their back with their arms and legs protruding through holes. They were force-fed large amounts of milk and honey, which induced severe diarrhea, and their entire body was smeared with the same mixture. This made them attractive to rodents, bugs, wasps, bees, flies, and whatever other animals lived near the lake. They would eat and bite at the victim's flesh, and when the next morning arrived, the boat would be brought back to the coast, and they would force-feed him another gigantic meal of milk and honey, also placing it on him once more. This was done on a daily basis to prolong the punishment for as long as possible. It was reported that the rats would usually try to go into the person's booty hole, and that the method was so long that it seemed to have no end, with a person surviving 17 days. This person reportedly had his entire face completely covered with wasp, and his flesh was rotting away, filled with swarms of parasites and worms, all while being covered in his own filth. If you want to discuss this video or suggest an idea for the next one, join my Discord. Link in the description.
That is too much, chat. Honestly, I feel that is like way too much, bro. Come on, man. That is too much. What do we have here? What do we have here? Yo, let's play a little bit of Roblox. Let's play a little Roblox. Little Roblox. Do you play Mecha Chameleon? Wait. Oh, my bad. Trying to see if yo, Sagoma is active. I'm trying to see if Sagoma is online. Chat, just trying to see if will he pick up the phone?
Yo, what you want, bro?
Yo, what up, bro? You still playing FIFA?
Yeah, I'm playing FIFA.
Oh, okay. Everybody left the BC.
Yeah, I know.
Alright, bet.
I'm about to I'm about to go sleep.
Oh, you better go sleep. Alright, no problem. I'm still on stream though.
Yeah. How many viewers you got?
Oh, right now? No, nobody. I don't see nobody. Right now, ain't nobody.
Huh?
I said nobody.
Oh, dang.
Yo, we still doing it. We're still doing it regardless. You can't play one Roblox Rivals or something.
No, after this game, I'm going to sleep.
All right, I bet. No problem, bro. See ya tomorrow
What?
then.
Yeah, yes. See you tomorrow, bro.
All right, bro. Okay, Ted. We're finna just finna play Roblox a little bit, and we might just end stream. Let's check this. Let's just check this. +1 keyboard escape. Why is it glitching? It's literally glitching, like, bro. Stop glitching. Stop glitching, gang. Alright, let's go. How? Bro, not again. Not again. Wait, okay, go. We good. Bro, how can I? Bro, I'm trying to jump, bro. Are you serious? Alright, let's go. He almost got me though. Bro, jump! Okay, one more time. Okay. No. Oh my God, chat. What, man? Fuck this shit, man. Bro, why do I keep, yo, just keep dying? My God, bro. Come on, man. Alright, wait, hold on. I got a luck hit. I just got a luck hit. Okay, let's go, let's go, let's go. How did I fucking die? How did I fucking die, bro? Alright. I want to do it. I'm done. Sniper Arena. What is it? Animal Hospital. Whoa, 644,000 active. Why does it look so scary though? Should we play it? I don't know. I want to check my bag, my bag, my bag. Damn. Yo, look at this. All right. I'm gonna say, we're going. We should have just end the stream via chat. We should have just end the stream here. Appreciate you guys for joining. Make sure you hit the like and sub button. Okay. Thank you.